Hey everybody, welcome back to Six Philosophers. We took last week off because of scheduling issues, and now we're back. And with us today, back from his safari in Newark, New Jersey, Eddie.
New Jersey is wonderful this time of year.
And always Mitch.
And hi guys. I just got back. I don't like the passive aggressive scheduling issues. We all know you're talking about me. Okay, we could read between the lines. You don't have to call me out on the air, bro. I was in Philadelphia, so I was right up there. I could have visited Eddie, but I didn't want to.
No, he often does that.
I also was not available though. I also had a
Uh,
busy week.
oh, okay, yeah, okay.
I
Well,
actually I went on this excursion into the Atlantic Ocean on a boat. And I was gonna go down and see this there was a shipwreck underwater and I was gonna go on that, but they were full.
you're
Yeah.
talking about, of course, the famed sinking of the Lusitania. I believe it was in the early 1900s.
Yes, by the damn German U-boats. As the Onion stated, they should have taken that OceanGate vessel and at least demonstrated it with poor people first. That way they would have had a better idea.
I think they did. That was the Titanic, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, but it depends on what level you were on.
Right.
So for those of you who are like, in 20 years when we're famous,
And watching our podcast,
and you're going back to the beginning and watching our 100th episode,
100, yep.
and the news that just broke today. There was this
submarine.
civilian-made submarine that decided to go explore the Titanic wreck, and much to everyone's surprise, it didn't work out so well, and it sank, and everybody died. But
catastrophic failure. They couldn't even open it from the inside, from what I was reading. It had to be opened from the outside.
Dude, everything about so
I will
look
touch on
at a
that.
rusting hunk of metal.
That seems like a good idea to me because you know that like if you open it you'll die, and you can imagine like if cabin fever or claustrophobia sets in and you're underwater and like one of the people on board start freaking out and they want to open the door, like no, this is going to be exterior only, sorry.
I just so without knowing a ton of the details, when I first started hearing about this, I kind of did a Google search. There's things on Instagram. And in my head, I was like, well, if I had the money, I'd be interested in maybe going down and looking at the Titanic. Sure. And then I saw the fucking vessel and I was like, no fucking way. Without knowing anything about it, I was like, no fucking way am I getting in that thing.
Yeah.
And then come to find out the guy who.
Or something like that.
Yeah, and it turns out the guy who built it like bought parts secondhand. It was controlled by a video game controller. Like everything about it was like no, 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 and no.
Well, look at what the SpaceX craft is going up in there. Use a damn iPad.
At least SpaceX has money behind it. This guy like has a video where he like he went cheap on everything. Another quote where he's like, "Well, if you're playing it safe, are you really living? Like, you get into a car accident, I'm like, you're going under fucking water, like."
They lost me. They lost me at the concept. This is like I had a friend who sent me the link when it first started popping, and it was to sound self-deprecating. It's the most white people shit I've ever heard. Of let's go like it's so dumb. From concept, it was dumb. I don't know why.
Well, because it's limited and not everybody gets to see the Titanic. It's extremely historical, a part of legend, a part of pop culture. But seriously, if you're paying money, why would you even want to get on a boat that sinks?
By definition, yeah.
Why would you do that?
There was a I don't know how real it was, but I remember seeing some internet thing of like they're rebuilding the Titanic, like an exact replica of the Titanic, and they were going to
supposedly Titanic 2 or something.
Right, and then they were going to like sail it from America, like from England to the U.S. like it was, and everyone's like, are you serious? Because no,
we want to do this again.
What? History repeats itself.
Serious. Well, they had to back then. They had to.
I'm just imagining if I'm getting on a flight and I look out the window and like the plane looks like shit and like it just, I'm like, I'm not getting on the plane. I like the idea of this is interesting, but as soon as I saw just a photo without even knowing how it was built, the video game controller shit, just seeing the photo of the vessel was
Mm.
enough for me to go, no,
No.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
you'd
So
have to have $250,000 that you didn't need in the first place,
Of
geared
course.
toward experiences. You could have spent that in Vegas and had a much better time.
Well, yeah.
and you might be able to walk away from it.
Yeah, you might be able to remember it too.
Well,
Um,
yeah.
the one haunting thing to think about is the reports are still coming in, so we're not sure. But what I've read is apparently it like died like within 2 hours of like takeoff or whatever submarines do. Deport do submarines
Submerged.
submerge? Okay, well, yeah, but I
Sure.
didn't know what the proper term for takeoff was. um, like apparently it was like within 2 hours or whatever they were just done. And I'm like the haunting thing to think about is being inside that soda can of it just compressing around you. And like, do you think there was a moment when they realized something was going wrong, or do you think it was just so quick because you're under
So
so much
Hopefully it
weight of
was quick.
water?
Hopefully it was quick.
I
Yeah.
did see. I'm not sure if it was exactly accurate, but they did a reenactment. I'm not sure if it was in response to this or if it was already like made, but they did a reenactment of like a similar thing, reacting to like imploding on that much pressure, and it seemed like it was really fast.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
I fucking hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if they had to sit in there all that time, that would be terrifying.
It'd be terrifying
Well,
and extremely painful.
yes. And then it's like, can you imagine that? Oh, what's that? What's that noise? Oh, it's nothing. Bill,
the
Ugh.
captain just says.
what
The
are we
captain
doing
just says.
here?
The captain just says. Huh. And then that was it.
Right.
It's not done that before.
Huh.
When we tested it in the pool, it didn't make this noise.
Yeah.
The good news is they didn't drown. There was a line.
You're not wrong.
There
Yeah.
was a line in Always Sunny. He's like, "Yeah, my great grandfather drowned in a pot of boiling lava." It's like he didn't drown; he burned up.
With all that said, it is kind of sad that these poor
Uh,
millionaires died.
I think one. Well, yeah. If you're a millionaire, if you can just fling 200. Yeah, they're millionaires.
But
It's
it's weighing your wrist. You put it perfectly. You got into a fucking soda can. It looked like a soda can. There's all the red flags. I just it sucks. It's sad, but I mean, the
yeah.
internet never loses, and the internet it came out on top.
The internet definitely came out on top on this one. The I don't know if you guys saw the. I think I sent it into the group chat. Or maybe not yet, but the Amazon reviews of that gaming controller.
Yeah, I did see
Have
it.
you seen
I'm
that?
not
That's
sure if it was you or someone else, but I did see that. Yeah.
pretty incredible. It's like 1 out of 5 stars. We're lost.
Wow.
Please send help. It's pretty awesome.
I saw a meme where it's like when the game pisses you off, so you throw your controller, and then it was like the rest of the boat. They showed them all terrified.
Yes, I saw that. That was good.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it is. Jokes aside, it's a major bummer because well,
It's one of those things
I don't
like it
know.
didn't have to happen. Didn't have to happen.
I go back and forth because I'm like, what the fuck were they thinking? I mean, it's sad. Loss of life is always sad. Well, not always. Mostly, it's usually sad when someone dies, but like, especially when it's like tourists. But on the other hand, I'm like, well, they were exploring a volcano. Well, they were skydiving. They kind of asked for it. I mean,
Well, they were playing with lions.
yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, well,
Well, they were running with bulls.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I feel bad for their families. I do feel bad for their
Yes.
families because like having to put them through that. It's like, oh, we're so rich, we're invincible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So other current events.
yeah, other so in celebration of our 100th episode,
Yeah.
I have a new segment for you guys. It was my wife and I were chatting about this because in our travels the past couple of weeks we were like naming off towns that we found in America, cities, towns, whatever. So I came up with this segment. It's called America or Africa. Now, what I'm going to do is
Okay.
I'm going to say a city, and this city will either be in Middle America or it will be a city in Africa. Now, if you don't
It
know,
could be
there's some.
yes.
It could be, yeah, it could be both. I don't know if it's both. The short version of how I found this was I went on Google Maps and I zoomed in on a random spot in either America or Africa, and I found a town with a funny sounding name. I'm going to say the name of the town, and you guys will have to guess if it's either in America or Africa. Now, if you know it, don't say it. Like, see, if you know it, don't say it. But let's see if you can guess. So, are you guys down for this?
Game on.
Okay.
Well, what else are we doing?
We usually just talk, but hey,
Go
here's a
through
fun.
the list. Yeah.
So,
Go.
first city is a city called Sokoto. 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 Do you think this is in Middle America or do you think this is in Africa?
My instinct goes Africa, but I'm gonna say America.
Oh wow.
I'm
Okay.
gonna say Africa.
Okay. The correct answer is it is Sokoto, Nigeria. It is a major city located in the northwestern part of Nigeria.
What are we doing the whole continent, or how many cities we got?
I've got five. I've got five
Okay,
cities.
five.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
And I won't tell you how many of either. Next one.
Oh, of course, dude. You fucking give it away, and I'm doing 5 all from Africa.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Next one is a town or city or what is it actually? I don't know what. Does anyone know the difference between towns and cities? We'll get into that later.
A city's bigger than a town.
Sizes, yeah.
Oh, okay. Is it strictly population or geography or?
What if you live in the suburb of a village?
Oh shit! Is that even a suburb?
Sure.
This one's called Kemmerer. 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 Kemmerer.
Africa.
Eddie says Africa.
I'm gonna go America.
Going America. This is Kemmerer, Wyoming. It's the largest city in the county seat of Lincoln County, Wyoming. Kemmerer. You want to know some fun facts about Kemmerer? Me neither. Moving on. Next one.
Just ask ChatGPT.
Next one. Munkato. 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 This is not Japan. It's either Africa or America.
These all sound African to me.
That's where like I feel like the obvious answer is Africa.
Right?
Munkato.
But it could be.
I'm going America again against my instinct.
Let's put it right down the middle. Lenny's always going to be America. I'm always going to be Africa. It's USA for Africa.
I mean, one of these days I'm going to find a city. I'm going to be like, all right. The clue is a lot of people of color live there.
Chicago.
Munkato, Minnesota. Munkato is a town in Minnesota. What's some fun facts about Munkato? It's 44,000 people. I'm sure some Native Americans were killed there. Moving on. Kemmerer's out. Okay, Sokoto. Okay. Next one. Bulawayo. 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 A lot of N's and O's. Bulawayo.
Well, because you said that, Mitch, that presupposes Africa. So I'm going to say Africa.
Why does it presuppose? I mean, you're right. It's Zimbabwe, but okay. But why does that? Bulawayo, Zimbabwe. Okay, we're not making fun of how it sounds. Okay, last one. This one is a little bit on the popular side, so we'll see if either of you know it. Sheboygan.
That's America.
That's America.
Sheboygan, Wisconsin. You guys are right. Yeah, Sheboygan, Wisconsin. AKA the county seat of Sheboygan County. Okay.
All right.
There you go.
What about Monrovia?
This has been.
This has been Monrovia. Africa or America? Or did I say America or Africa? Next time I'll see if I can find.
Seriously, I got one more. Monrovia.
Oh, Monrovia?
Yeah.
That's in California.
Oh.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I believe it's the capital of Lagos.
About to look
that up. I think you're right.
Yeah, look it up.
I think you're right.
I mean, I'm not going to challenge you. I just like.
No, well, just look it up. It's just trivia.
African County of Liberia. Wow. Okay.
Oh, Liberia, not Lagos.
It's close. It's close. So my wife and I are like driving around. We have a lot of towns out here that are named after a lot of like Native American tribes, and there's a town near where we live called, well, it's kind kind of a like town, city. There's a brewery, there's a river. It's called Catawba. Pretty good stuff. But there's like a lot of Native American cities that still are in America that sound like, I mean, sound like they're from Africa or the Middle East or something like that. It's pretty cool. So I thought it'd be a fun game. Next time we play, I'll come up with like some fun facts of, hey, a little known fact: the typewriter was invented here, and blah blah
And Mankato.
blah.
Mankato. The Mankato typewriter. Everybody knows that.
What was the other one?
Mankato,
Kermerer? What was the other one?
Kemmerer,
Kemmerer.
Wyoming.
Kemmerer sounds like someone stumbled with a Midwest accent, and they named it Kemmerer.
It sounds like your like racist white uncle that's trying to pronounce a Native American tribe.
Like, or Coomer. Yeah, the Coomeroo. Coomeroo. You can't vote for the Coomeroo. Hey, that'd make a good name for a city, don't you know?
I'm from Kermerer. Yeah.
All I'm saying is I feel uncomfortable saying Kimmerer. I feel like someone's offended.
You know what's weird? So my wife and I are looking around like areas around like where we want to think about buying a house, and we're looking at towns and thinking about where we want to like start like purchasing land. And what's a major point for me that I don't know if I've really related to her yet is like the ease at which I can describe the city or like say the address. Like if the city sounds weird, I don't want to live there.
That's one of those things that when you say it out loud, you're like, Mitch, that's dumb. But then you think about it, you're like, yeah.
Because I've lived in Rancho Cucamonga my whole life. And it's a fucking bitch to say.
And
people often leave out the Rancho too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I'm sure we all have the experience, like especially like when I was in college, like just like, oh, where are you from? Rancho Cucamonga, and it's like, all right, really?
Where are you from, Henderson?
Well, I'm still seeing it like now. It's like oh, by the way, there's a Henderson, North Carolina. Yeah,
they got them all over the place.
I'm sure there's a few Hendersons around. Yeah.
And there's a Martin Luther King Boulevard, like right in Raleigh. It's weird.
How's that neighborhood?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. What was I saying? Rancho Cucamonga. No, even here, like people are like, "Where are you from?" I'm not gonna say Rancho. I'm saying outside of LA, about an hour outside of LA. And if people really want to know, then I'll go, "Oh, it's actually a town called Rancho Cucamonga." And yeah, it's terrible. Yeah. So I'm looking at cities around where I live, and I'm like, okay, Raleigh kind of sounds kind of cool, right? There's a town I've been considering called Hickory. That sounds sweet. But then there's other.
Hickory
I was in a town.
Cool. Hold on. You said Hickory sounds sweet.
Yeah.
Was that supposed to be a pun, like a cooking pun?
Sweet Hickory paradise.
It wasn't meant to be, but I'll take it. Shit, if the boot fits, lace that bitch up.
All right, go on, Hickory.
But then there's a town. I was in the town today that I'm like, oh, this is kind of nice, but the town's called Nashville. It's Nashville, North Carolina, and already I'm like, that's dumb. That's dumb. I can't because there's Nashville, Tennessee, which is like
you can say I live in Nashville, not the cool one, the one that's in.
It's kind of like the Miami that's in Ohio.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Las Vegas that's in New Mexico. Yeah.
Or there's an Arkansas in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
It's not Arkansas. But it's like it's sad, but it writes off the entire town of Nashville, North Carolina for me because I'm like, I don't want to live there because I don't want to tell people I live in Nashville and have them be impressed.
Well, it's kind of like if you introduce yourself as an Olympic athlete and everyone's impressed and you're like, yeah, I'm on the darts team.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, with Rancho Cucamonga, there's only one of those. You're not going to say no, the one that's in California.
Right. That's true.
Like, I told my roommate in college in Indiana, he was from Indianapolis, that my cousin lived in a town called Temecula. And he's like, what the hell kind of name is that? What? It's not Greencastle, It's not, it's not North Bend, what the hell's going on?
There is I'm like looking it up. There is a California city, isn't there?
California City, California.
Okay, yeah. See, like I couldn't live there because it's like I live in California City. Oh, where's that? Go fuck yourself. Kern County, yeah. Okay. Huh. Yeah, but so anyway, that's been a major part. It's like, yeah, part of it's what you were saying, Eddie. It's like, yeah, Rancho Cucamonga. There's not very many of those. There's the one in California. There's the one in Workaholics. There's the one in Next Friday. So there's a few, Rancho Cucamonga's, but there's that, but there's also the just like the pain to say, like, oh, that doesn't roll off the tongue, so I don't know if I want to live there. It's really weird and it's really shallow.
Well, just tell people you're originally from Ontario.
Mm, mm. Yeah, Ontario.
I
Narrows it
just going
down.
back to the Nashville thing. Like, yeah, you're right. If you live there, it's like, oh, hey, where are you from? I'm from Nashville. Oh, like, do you like the music scene there? Like, how's the culture? It's actually
Not the
just
cool one.
I'm in North Carolina.
No, I'd play it up. I'd be like, actually, it's really boring. Everyone asks me that. Nashville music sucks. I don't know. It's a lot of
Leaning into it. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh
So
man, we
where do
got
you
to make
live? What's there to do where you live?
where I live.
Yeah.
In Nashville.
Um, well, in Raleigh, there's a pretty major like city about 15-minute drive away from us, so it's pretty much everything. Um, but as far as like the local population hobbies, I don't know. They work on their trucks. That's what I've gathered.
I'd
How
imagine
far
they
do you
do.
have to drive for? How far do you have to drive for good barbecue?
Oh my god, I could walk to good barbecue. They're pretty much everywhere. Barbecues like here is like Mexican food in California.
What
They're
about
everywhere and they're
sushi?
all good. Sushi, I don't know. We've been to like 2 spots that have sushi and they're okay. They're okay.
What about Mexican food?
Not happening. I can't find
Not
it. I've been
happening.
looking. I've been looking, and the best
Taco
Mexican
Bell.
the best Mexican food I've had is the one I make at home. And that sounds big
Sense.
headed, but it's good stuff.
You got to get the Lara's taco seasoning, ground beef,
Now I
hard
forgot.
shells, the ones that are already hard. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Does North Carolina or South Carolina, the Carolinas, do they have like a type of barbecue? Is there like a Carolina barbecue style, or is it just
So this is
I bet
actually
they use vinegar instead of barbecue sauce. That's what
is
I heard.
that Carolina? I know there's like
actually this is actually fascinating to me because I started like before I moved here, even when I was in California, I started researching this. There's a whole culture of barbecue just in North Carolina alone because there is 2 major types. There's the red vinegar kind of spicy barbecue, which is
mhm,
mostly with like pulled pork and stuff. Well, all North Carolina is usually based around pulled pork. And then there's also the mustard yellow barbecue, which is also comes from North Carolina. So
Carolina,
it's
yeah.
so there's and they dual. They're like the Montagues and Capulets. So those 2 barbecues, and I forget which is east and which is west, and I feel like I should really learn that.
I,
Yeah,
I thought
Mitch.
I thought you were gonna say I forget which one's the Montague and which one's the Capulet. That's what I thought you were going with that.
Mustard Montague is what I'm saying, and they're
All right.
both really good. And you can so it's like when you go to like a restaurant and they say, "Oh, Carolina barbecue style." It's like, well, there's actually subcultures of barbecue in
Sure.
Carolina, and it's pretty
Awesome.
interesting. Really cool, really cool.
Now, is there a
But
Carolina style of pizza?
not that I've noticed. No, in fact, the
I
best
didn't think
pizza
so.
One that you would want to try.
I
there,
didn't think so.
all the
Y'all
good
have a
pizza.
Thai chicken pizza? Yeah, they put Thai food on a pizza. I don't know what that means. What is a California pizza kitchen? I don't know what that means.
it's
Jesus.
all vegan,
Just avocados.
but it's weird because Raleigh, it's the county seat of the whole state, but not county seat. It's the what is it, capital of the whole state. Wow, I'm fucked
Take your
up.
time.
Sorry.
Take your time.
Raleigh is the capital of North Carolina, and thus it's very progressive, I guess. So you do get a lot of like the here's our all vegan flatbread stone fire pizza with basil and rosemary that we picked from our all vegan garden in some dude's backyard, and it's like so you get a lot of that. But then you go next door and you have like down home hush puppy barbecue
Love
with
it.
the most non-diverse staff you'll ever see.
That's
Well, you have to
rocking.
find that balance.
Yeah, it is very balanced. It is very balanced. Well, I don't know. Would extremes of both sides would equal extremes of both sides be considered balanced?
If they're living in harmony.
Sure. Sure. That's what Arcata, California has been doing. What you have the most bleeding heart liberals right next to a log factory. And it's always been like that. It's always been like that.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's what I always felt about Oregon.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Because in
yeah.
Oregon, it's like, yes, gay marriage, absolutely. Legalize weed, yes. Take my guns, no.
No. Yeah, they
Going
like
against losing people.
there's a few like countries. I'm sorry, I'm fucking up again. Oh my god, Mitchell. Jesus.
Mitchell,
Okay,
you're drunk.
I've had 2 beers, man. No, okay. States. There's plenty of states, and they're always usually coastal states where you'll get, except for California, but you'll get like an extreme liberal metropolis, and then you get out to the suburbs about 20 miles, and then all of a sudden it's the most like conservative staunch you ever
Yes.
see. You know, I mean, I guess California and New York would be the exceptions, but then
New York
what
has
are some?
really conservative pockets too.
I'm sure pockets, but I was thinking more like, in Washington where Seattle is just so blue, and then you get out into the
Yeah, by
eastern
Spokane.
Washington,
Yeah.
yeah, Spokane and all that, and
Whew.
they get some gun toters out there.
California's the same way. Once you get to Nevada and what have you.
100%, yeah.
So you're in North Carolina or South Carolina?
So I'm in North Carolina, northern North Carolina.
So is Asheville north or south?
Asheville is way out to the west, almost Tennessee, and Asheville is regarded as the San Francisco of the South, pretty much by all the like the whole area, all the other surrounding states as well. Kind of agree. Asheville is very progressive compared to the rest of the area, but yeah, Asheville is actually really nice though.
Well, because I remember a few years ago when I was still on the market, I was like, what concentration of the US, if any, has more women than men? And I believe it was
Ooh,
like South Carolina, specifically Asheville. So of course I started doing research, and then I just stumbled across a little yoga weekend. And I was like, how much are flights to Asheville? Damn, that's a great,
yeah.
what a wonderful, so
No,
haven't followed through with it. Never followed it.
Asheville is still in North Carolina. It's pretty near the border between Tennessee and South Carolina, but it is still north. And yeah, Asheville's great there, and it's exploding. It's exploded. They're actually building a lot of stuff out there right now, and I thought it already exploded, but it's already going. So I got the Jones to want to buy some property in the surrounding area in Raleigh already, and because I just know it's growing, it's still growing. Ugh, crazy. Um, what's next on the
Interesting.
agenda, guys? We've got barbecue. Back to the barbecue. Hush puppies. If you ever had hush puppies, that's a big North Carolina thing.
Jalapeno hush puppies are the best.
Ooh.
Once you put jalapeno in that batter, you don't want to go back.
Once you pop, you don't stop.
No,
Um,
I can't do catfish though. I don't understand what the
Catfish,
fascination
a
is with
Carolina
catfish.
thing?
No,
I
well,
think
it's a southern thing.
I would say it's more like Bayou, kind of maybe Louisiana, kind of Florida,
It's
maybe
more
a little bit.
Louisiana, yeah.
Midwest.
Yeah, yeah. No, I haven't had much seafood here. We did go down to the coast a couple times, and I've had some seafood out there. It was really good, obviously, but
Have you had good collard greens yet?
I don't think it's possible to have good collard greens, but
Oh
I'm
yes.
biased. I'm
My,
biased.
my first encounter with collard greens, when I was working in Orange County, I read something online, and it was like the third best barbecue place in all of Orange County, and it's this
Oh,
little hole in the wall. That was my first experience with collard greens. I melted. It was so awesome.
ooh,
And
okay.
then you go in the military, and then there's like, well, that's collard greens, obviously. And it's like, oh my god, this is hell. This sucks. This is beyond sucks. It's terrible.
I do feel like when it comes to collard greens, it's either really good or really bad.
Yes,
There's
there's no middle
no
ground. I've never had
middle
middle
ground.
ground. Never had
So,
middle ground.
side note, fun fact: there is an Orange County in North Carolina, and
Still
I feel like
everything
there's
from
an Orange
California.
County in every state.
so I'm thinking of the
Florida?
Orange County, California, which hello, they made a TV show about it. Um, but Orange County, North Carolina, Orange County, California, they're a little different.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, so what are some of the differences?
There's no beach in the Orange County, North Carolina. It is completely landlocked. There's some
Pretty strong
lakes.
difference.
Can you
Uh,
drink blue milk in South Carolina?
n-
If you feel like it. If you feel
n-
like paying $100, can you drink blue milk?
again, I'm in North Carolina, so I don't know
Oh,
about
son of a
South.
bitch.
It's actually South Carolina is kind of peed on by North Carolina. It's kind of funny. It's like South Carolina is like the poorer, more racist version of us. So we're not like
We're not with that trash.
You're already
you know,
using
you know,
us.
Ew. South Carolina? Ew. How dare you confuse us? Ew. Meanwhile, South Carolina was like, hell yeah, we're North Carolina. We're like the same damn thing.
We're just south.
Eddie, girlfriend?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, huh?
Not wow like surprising. Wow like awesome. Cool.
Well,
Girlfriend.
it took a while, but when it works, and it's like
It
it's
works.
amazing, and it's like
Cool.
I'm getting just the love that I crave. It sounds like really cheesy and everything, but it just works.
It's the hardest part is figuring out what kind of love you're really looking for and what suits you. And then once you can dial that in, which is a chore in of itself, then you got to find someone that's willing to offer it. It's a pain.
Well,
But I think
it's not only a pain, but it mimics what my relationship now. It mimicked my two other most successful
oh,
relationships. One of which wasn't my marriage. It was my first relationship in high school and my second relationship in college. And I just could feel that vibe, and I was like, "Oh, I know what this feels
oh, that's
like."
cool.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
I
Good.
think okay, so the last time you were on the show, was it before official? Were you guys kind of still talking?
Oh,
What's
that was
your
a different relationship. That was a different relationship where he came in, said I was being too loud, and yeah, as soon as we got off, I was like, yeah, I should have
I,
ended it right there.
I don't remember this. Was I there for
I
Oh,
this?
vaguely do. I vaguely do.
well,
Okay, I
it's on
wasn't.
camera. Yeah, you should have been able to hear her voice.
I
Going,
don't know.
no,
I
you're
think
being
I
too
remember there
loud.
was something, but I don't think we heard her. Or I do remember that, but I don't think we heard her. I think it was very subtle. Like if you weren't looking for it, you wouldn't notice.
Yeah, I played it
Wow.
off, and
So
then with the camera off.
we don't have
Is
to say.
she there right now?
She being my current relationship now.
Oh, okay.
No.
I was gonna like, hey, can we
So
have
that
her
was a
on?
previous relationship.
I was gonna say if your current one was there, I was gonna have you go grab her.
Yeah. Okay.
Call her up.
And it's kind of very interesting because to, and I hear this especially with actors. She's not an actor, but I
Good.
encounter this a lot. She says she's an introvert, but I just don't believe her because she
So
has a very presentational style, and I hear that from a lot of other actors. Getting to know them, they're introverts, and when you talk to them, except you put in front of an audience, that's good, but only in front of the audience.
there's a
Hmm.
myth about introverts because I believe I'm an introvert. Introverts are the stereotypical introvert where they're quiet and kind of to themselves. When they're around people, they're not comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
So like you get me. I mean, we talked about it, Mitch, in a previous episode. Like last 4th of July, when everyone came over, every single person at our home was people I was comfortable with. So I was drinking, I was talking to people, it was great. But if I go to like one of Erica's work functions and I'm around like her bosses, like people I don't know, I'm just that guy following her around quietly.
Oh wow, you're like the creeping husband.
Same. That's same
Yes,
for me. Same for me.
100%.
You're like
When
Tommy Lee.
Yeah,
when I go, it's the same for me. I'm like usually when around people I know I'm very like social and outgoing. But when I go with Erica to her work functions, I'm very like very quiet, to myself. But
it's true.
that was a joke. I'm joking. That was
I
a
know,
joke.
I got you. No, but no, it's true because like a lot of people like that was pointed out to me, and so people who know me are like, no, like you're very outgoing and you're very extroverted. I'm like, yeah, around you motherfuckers.
Yeah, yeah. No,
But
I get
when
that.
I'm around strangers or doing that, and so acting on stage is still you're not like that's your comfort zone. But then
So
you go out to hear their criticism, and you're just like, oh, leave me alone.
Yeah, well, and you're on stage with lines that you've been working with these people, you've been working with them for a very short period of time, you get to know people. But the
well,
audience, it's like you don't know them.
I've
So
made this point before is that when you're acting, you have a character to hide behind.
Yeah,
We
100%,
take
100%.
actors, we take actors in a play, and they're not nervous at all. Take those actors without a script and hand them a speech to say in front of just a crowd, and they turn into the most scared, nervous people you'll ever see because they don't have
Mm-hmm.
they don't have a character to hide behind. But the introvert extrovert debate, well, discussion is always fascinated me because I believe everyone is an introvert just because maybe I'm just that kind of self-centered because this is how I see the world.
Mm.
Given the choice to socialize or stay home in your comfort zone, I believe everyone would rather stay home in their comfort zone than try to socialize with people they don't know.
I
Um,
Unless
I
you're
would
looking for
disagree.
something, I don't go out as much because when I was going out, I was looking for something. I was looking for a partner. I was looking
gotcha.
for a date. And now that it's not there, it's like, well, I signed up for a meetup because a friend's going to be there and my girl is going to be gone, but I don't know that I just want to go out.
Hmm.
Hi, who are you? Let me listen to you talk about
Yeah.
things. Are you going to say something interesting? I don't know.
But I will say, just having been like the restaurant bar business and everything, there are people who will just go out and want to talk to people and be out there and just want to interact with people, and I find them intolerable. But those people exist. That they just
So
they'll talk to anyone openly. How many stories have I said on this fucking show where people just spill their fucking guts to me, and I literally
yeah,
just met them, and I'm not even
yeah,
bartending.
yeah.
I'm just like at the store.
That
Like
could
there
be a
are
thing.
people.
That's what
That
you're
could be
there
a
for.
thing too, though. That could be a thing where it's like they are seeking companionship or community, and they're that starved for it. But
And you're perceived as approachable. Interesting.
the the
Apparently,
sociable, like people define introvert extrovert as people who are sociable, and I find that to be not true because that's I guess what I was saying is that people
I would agree
say
with that. That description of it, I would agree with.
is not true. What I heard this definition of an introvert versus extrovert, and this hit the nail on the head for me. Um, to rejuvenalize, to get your energy back. Do you get your energy back from being alone, or do you get energy back from socializing with people? Now, if we can agree
Huh.
that everyone is antisocial to some degree, like they don't want to go out and meet strangers, they want to stay in their comfort zone. So, do you, if you just are bogged down and you need to recenter and get your energy back, do you more often seek that in someone else? It could be one or a group or going out, or do you most often seek that rejuvenalization from being alone? I heard that definition, and that seemed more relevant because I could see how people would be different in that way. And in that way, I am an introvert because when I'm bogged down and out of energy, I need alone to be turned off, desensitized, and just, sensory deprivation, video games, or something alone in order to get my energy back before I can, feel right again.
And it's always been that way.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. To my best memory, yeah.
Because
That's
I
an
could do both. I think it comes with age too. Because like now that I'm older, it's just yeah, I just want to relax. But I remember back in the day, it's like I just got off of work. Well, let's go out. You
Hmm.
know.
See,
yeah.
I
I
came
think
to
I can
this
do both.
I came to
Ambivert.
this I came to this conclusion when I observed friends when they go camping. When I go camping, my ideal idea of camping is being completely alone for days on end, just me and nature. And other friends find it equally relaxing and as rejuvenating when they are with people. Like they can't camp unless they are with people and in a group and do it that way. So I was like, oh my God, I think I'm onto something here. This might be the introvert extrovert difference.
I think it kind of depends because like I actually really like that description and that kind of debate about it, if you will,
Hmm.
because there are some times where like recently, for example, I've been I won't go into it, but I've been working a lot recently,
Yeah, yeah, I
and
can tell.
yeah, and
Look
back
at you.
in
You look fucking terrible. Oh my
thank
God.
you, thank you. Was it yeah, you look tired. Oh, okay.
You look tired
Um,
and you have no more money than you had earlier. What the fuck is wrong
right.
with you, Mike?
But no,
Holy shit.
so I remember though in May, between the two businesses, we were talking
Two
and
businesses. Two businesses?
yes,
He's
and
double
what
businessing.
and so the dream in my head was pretty much like it was Mother's Day,
Okay.
and I was like, and one business was closed, one wasn't, and I was like, my perfect Mother's Day is to just be able to sleep
Yeah. Okay.
in and relax, and I got it, and it was great. But at the same time, like the social events that we kind of have as a crew, like we do the wing competition every year, we do a Friendsgiving every year. Those
Mm.
events are also very rejuvenating to me, seeing everybody
Oh yeah.
again, but it's people I know. So that's where I'm kind of like in my head. It's like, does that count as being an extrovert? There's people, but it's still people I'm comfortable with. Like it's not like random people.
You gotta know him.
Yeah.
So I would say there are other elements of your life as a human, functioning human, that need to be fulfilled, like community, like
Hmm.
solitude. I think every human at some point needs to have to be in touch with themselves just alone. Yada yada yada. Some joke about masturbating. No, not that.
Beat me to
I'm
it. Beat
talking
me to it.
about. I mean, like, getting to know yourself and being okay with just yourself, and being around people. When I went 2 weeks ago to Washington to visit my sister, and it was the first blood relative family I'd seen in about 9 months since I moved. And when I saw my sister, I'm like, like I got all emotional. I was like, oh my gosh, and I had to, like, we had extra long hug and all that because it was that community, that tribal instinct we have that needed to be fulfilled. So there is that. There is elements of both in every, like, human's life, but it's kind of like, well, which do you tend to lean more towards? Which one do you think, outside of just the base requirements, which one do you think you do more that is more, unique to you?
Well, let me ask you something, Mitch, to counter it, because I just thought of this and I was
Yeah,
like, oh, maybe
ask
this is
Mitch.
something.
Ask Mitch. Ask
Well,
him.
no, Mitch put forth that theory. I'm going to put forth another theory. Oh, theory. God, Jesus. Theory. Theory.
This water is working.
Um. So Mitch. So I go to on my way home. There's a tap room for Smog City Brewing that I go to in this like public market. Anyway, when
You're
I go by
alcoholic.
there, huh?
Nothing.
Um, but no, actually, I heard someone say this on a quick tangent that sometimes it's different grabbing a beer away from home to unload that negative energy from your workday. Then you
Yes.
go home.
Yes.
I can never put my finger on why grabbing a beer on the way home somewhere else was better. Because sometimes Erica's like, "You have beer here, just have a beer here," and I couldn't articulate the difference until a guy I know said, "You want to unload your negative energy somewhere else."
Oh my
Smart.
God. What you're
Smart. That
talking
is
about
very smart.
is so amazing. My wife and I, when we were engaged, we went through this book of, like, pre-marriage, questions to ask. And one of the things they pointed out is that guys have this need, not need, but, like, well, yeah, need, that when they get home from work, there's this moment of unplugging, or this process of, I
Winding
don't
down.
want to socialize. It could be at home, it could be at the bar on the way home, it could be something. It's that transition from out of work into not working. It's the
Yeah,
changing of the compartments, kind of thing.
Hence the man cave.
Or yeah,
yeah,
yeah, or yeah, and it's, or the video games, or just nothing, or grabbing a beer on the way home. It's like, yeah, we have beer at home, but it's different. It's like the thing, and oh my
yeah,
God, so it speaks so true to me,
yeah. And
100%. Anyway,
when this guy like kind of put it that way, it clicked, and I was like, "That's exactly what it was. It is.
yeah,
I'm unloading. I just want to chill for a second, get this
yep,
energy out here, then go
yeah,
home."
yeah,
Anyway,
Smart.
that was a tangent. So when I go, and this is if I'm getting a beer on my way home, if I go to the pub down the street for lunch, whatever it is, when I go to the bar, I don't talk to anyone but the bartender
mm,
when they take my orders.
mm, okay,
If someone talks to me, I'll respond politely, but I don't start conversations. I'm just there to chill with myself. Unless
right,
if the three of us went out somewhere, obviously I'm gonna talk to you guys.
yeah,
But when I go by myself, it's just me. There are people who will go to a bar by themselves, not knowing anyone, and
hmm,
they'll just start conversations with people at the bar. To me, that's kind of an accurate depiction of, are you extrovert or introvert? You're going to the bar for different reasons, but are you going to be the one to engage actively with other people, or are
right,
you going to be by yourself and be content?
yeah,
I've done
okay, yeah,
that. Yeah, I've gone to bars just specifically to talk to people. It's like
And you are
I'm on
definitely
my
a
own.
fucking extrovert.
I guess so. Well, okay. I consider
I
myself
think
an
so. I think
ambivert.
so.
I consider myself an ambivert. Like there's not a movement that I have to go out, and if I have like people I can talk to, if that energy's getting out,
hmm,
I don't need to do that. But it's interesting, it's one thing you have one energy that's in acting class, say, and then it's like another kind of freer energy where there's no expectation at a bar, and you can just
hmm.
just talk shit. But then again, I go to bars and it's like I don't want to talk to any of these people.
So
So
But you don't shy away from talking to strangers. I do. That's my point with you. That's why I think you're an extrovert. Because like if something's on your mind, I feel like you'll just grab them and say, "Hey, what does that mean on your shirt?"
Yeah, I
That's
will.
true.
I
Yeah.
there was like a meme of like this creepy milk carton, and I had to go to the hospital for a blood draw. It's 4 stories up. This guy, he's probably a physician. He's in there with scrubs, and it's like this milk carton, like a stick figure or something like that. And I just showed him my phone. I was like, "Does this encourage you to drink milk?" And he's like, "Nothing encourages me to drink milk. Let me look at it though." It's like,
See that I would not do that. I would just be
yeah.
like, "Don't talk. I don't want to talk to anyone."
But if well, you can't resist a meme though. That's the
See,
thing.
That's
People
funny because
can't
like,
resist memes.
see what you're describing, Mike, is interesting because I don't think now I'm shying away. I don't know if it's the act itself that decides. It's the act. Well, go with me here. I only go to a bar if I anticipate being social.
I'm not the
Um,
same. I'm not like that.
I don't think I've ever
That's a
been to
very
a
good
bar
point.
wanting to just be alone. I mean, sometimes I went like when I was living in Bishop, I would like go to a bar to watch the football game. And it's like if I socialize, cool, but mostly I'm just going to watch football because they have cable. Um,
Mhm.
but other than that, if I go to a brewery or I go to a bar, I expect to have conversations with total strangers, and I'll make it happen if it doesn't happen organically. Kind of so because of that, I don't go to breweries very often. I still go to breweries and all that, but on the other hand, I go camping because I want it to be silent and isolated,
You need some
Mhm.
Mitch time.
which is so it's so I don't think it's the activity. Maybe maybe we're both right here. I don't know.
I think we're
What's that? Well,
so
you're also sitting at a bar too. What do you expect? You don't go to the table and sit by yourself. You go to the bar.
yeah,
Right.
but Mitch, even we've talked about like at grocery stores. I'm very much like to the person ringing me up. I'm like, just get me through this and get me out.
Uh-huh.
Whereas you have said that you are open to talking to the person depending on the
Yeah.
like. So I do think you're kind of, I guess, in Eddie's terms, an ambivert.
Sure. Yeah. Maybe.
And I think there's probably a spectrum we all land on it somewhere. There's sometimes where I'll talk to if the conversation is interesting, I will openly talk to a stranger. Like there was
Yeah.
a year or two back at the store, I grabbed like 2 6 packs of different craft beer, and someone nearby said like, "Hey, what was that you grabbed?" And I showed them, and they're like, "What is that?" And I talk beer, so I
Yeah.
started
Yeah.
talking beer, and they said like,
It's
"Is it
like,
good? Is
well,
it?"
this is Bud Light and this is Bud Light Lime. It's pretty good.
Exactly. This is gay Bud Light. Uh, but no, and so but no, so I had this conversation with this random guy because he was looking for a beer. He was going to some like party or something. He's like, I'm trying to find beer, but I don't know what people like. And I was like, well, I like IPAs, but I like talking beer. So I talked to a
So
stranger for 30 seconds, and it was fun.
nothing happened. It's fine. So if it's interesting enough, you'll have the conversation. And I guess the real question is introvert extrovert depends on how high or low the bar for interesting conversation is. Because if
Yes.
you go into it being like, bro, if you say this apple is red, I'm into it. Like let's start talking. And because yeah, you meant like, and now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, cashier interactions. I'm about 50-50. Most of the time, ring me up, half the time, ring me up, go. The other half of the time, oh, how's your day going? No, for real, how is your day? Did you just start? Are you closing soon? Oh, that's a bitch. All right, well, have a good weekend.
And I think with the cashier and even like bumping into someone in the aisle or at a bar talking to someone, if it comes about naturally, I'm okay with that. But if I'm just, I still remember this time when Erica was living in Woodland Hills and there was a pub down the street I get lunch at when I was staying with her. And like this old guy, I was sitting at the corner of the bar having lunch, and this old guy and all the other regulars were all talking, and all of them left except for the one guy. And
Mm.
I was just looking at the TV and I fucking felt him, I could feel him turn to me and like look at me, and I was what do you like what? And finally he was like, I forgot what was on TV, but he was like, so the fucking baseball game, right? And I was like, this no, cash me out. I was like, I'm done. Just because it was so contrived. You know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah.
contrived. If like now had I asked the bartender like, hey, like they all left, do you mind changing it to the basketball game?
Mm.
And she was like, okay. And the guy was like, oh, who's your team? And I was like, the Lakers. And it came about naturally. Then I'm more inclined to have a conversation. But if it's obviously just a contrived effort to start a conversation,
See,
I'm not about it.
I would be. This is my cynical side coming out. I would say even the word natural is just horribly objective. Oh, this fucking baseball game, right? Yeah, that's natural. Let's talk.
You mean
You know, it,
subjective? You mean subjective? Yes.
subjective. Yes, sorry.
Aren't
No,
you
and you're
in
right.
like a friendly part of the country though, Mitch? I mean, don't
There's
people
that.
engage you more too?
Oh yeah, big time, absolutely. So
Even in
you kind
San
of
Diego, my my girlfriend saw somebody with a dog going into 99 Ridge Market, thought the dog was cute, and they just stood there and talked to us. And I was like, whoa, this is some pretty Midwest shit. It wasn't a quick minute. It was like they went into details, and I was like, okay, we're talking about the damn dog. I'm hungry. You
no. There's
know?
a lot of yeah, just like not just strangers, but even like coworkers too. It's like they'll call you up randomly and chat for just hours, like an hour or two. Like if you let them, they'll just chat your ear off, and there's about nothing, but they just chat. So there is definitely a culture of extroversion, I guess.
Community and friendliness. My son, when we were in Branson, like,
Hmm.
and he's like
Missouri.
Branson, Missouri, and it was just at the Red Lion Motor Lodge, not one of the cool Red Lion inns, but just the Motor Lodge, Red Lion Inn. And he had to go get some ice or something like that, and he's like, Dad, 5 people just said hi to me. He couldn't believe it, you know. Like, yes, Midwestern friendly. Yes, that's what you
Yeah,
got. And
yeah.
engage them.
They're it's kind of like it's a lot because here anyway they're it's very much a culture of talk, of chatting, of communication, but there's also in that a very strong culture of no filter. They will say exactly what is on their mind, and
Awesome.
they will say so much of what is on their mind, and you better be like not ready for it, but like also ready for it, and just like let most of it just wash over you. But it's just you just got to be ready, I guess. But
I'd love to be ready for that. Okay, what you just said to me was just clarifying.
yeah, like
I would not like that.
uh,
Would
it's
I,
a lot. Like I find myself raising my eyebrows and being like, "Holy shit, he just said
Well,
that
try
out loud."
that. Try that. What you just said to be California. What you just said to me
Uh-huh.
was, is that correct?
I
See how
mean, I've
that
done.
goes. I don't know.
I
I'll
have
put
caught
another
myself
guess.
doing that. I have caught myself doing that once with someone who he was talking about a particular city that I was like just coming back from, and his exact words were, "Oh, that such and such. Yeah, that's a dark city. You know, not a lot of sunshine, if you know what I mean." And I'm
oh,
like, uh, uh, and like it occurred to me exactly like right away what he said, but he just said it. He said it so brazenly and like kind of like, yeah, this is what's on my mind, so I'm just gonna say it. And yeah, I found myself saying, "Holy shit, you just said that
Yeah,
out loud." Okay, wow, all right,
yeah.
woo,
that is, yeah, that's
All I
something that we don't experience.
all I know is if I ask a stranger, "Hey, how's it going?" The rule is you say, "Good. How are you?" I don't I don't need to know how you're actually doing. The last thing I want is like a stranger, "Hey, how's it going?" And they're like, "Well, let me tell you something. My wife just left me. I got fired. I've been drinking way too much. My blood pressure's high." I'd be like, "Hey, can you just ring me up, please?" Like,
But there's
there,
people
there,
that do that to a bartender, right?
well, that comes with being a bartender. So I'm talking about outside being a bartender. I'm talking about just like I'm out in the public trying to get groceries.
And people talk to you and shit. That's amazing. I'm
And
just in
I
there. I look like this. I like shaved. And it's like, damn, I look mean. You know,
no,
I'm
we've
not aware of this
Mitch
until
and I,
I
Mitch and I have
look
had
at
this
the
fucking
feed.
we've
You
had this
know,
conversation before. I've always been told I look unapproachable. I have resting dick face, etc., etc. But in the last like 5 years, I've had random fucking people come up to me and just spill their shit. Not even when I'm bartending. I'm just in the fucking store and they come up to me and start talking to me. And I don't like it. That's
see, I
it.
have a theory. I have a theory about that. Is that because you spent your whole life in the hospitality, not hospitality, but in the service industry? It's your kind nature is just kind of like no, I'll go back.
never been there.
The service industry has shaped your nature to be more friendly, I guess, so people feel like they can talk to you.
I
But
guess.
but you're approaching your what I think you're saying, Lenny, is that just people approach you out of freaking blue. and tell
Yes.
you how their day was,
Yeah,
not
dude,
prompting.
I've told Mitch too many stories about strangers talking to me. My fucking neighbor unloaded on me about how his aunt, just someone got like killed themselves, and then his dad or his mom died, and he just unloaded this shit on me. And it was our second conversation we ever had. Meanwhile, a guy at the store told me about how he was in prison and got into a fucking hit by a bus, and he just got out of the hospital that morning. It,
I
there are
like
stories.
stories like that. I like that story. It's like,
It was
okay.
interesting, but I was like, why are you telling me this?
Bro, I was working on this generator a few weeks back, and the customer had like their facilities manager there. I'm looking at the generator. He's there with me to unlock doors and answer questions, and he's on his phone. And I'm like, okay, I think I found what the problem is. It's this and it's this, and he's still just like looking at his phone. He's like, oh, not really paying attention. I'm like, okay, you don't care. I mean, I'll fix it. And we're like kind of like wrapping up, and I'm like, okay, so the generator's doing this and that, and we're like, okay, yeah. And the guy's like, okay, yeah, yeah. Man, I've been trying this online dating thing, and I got this fucking out of fucking nowhere. This like dude hit me with this, and he started talking about. He's like, I'm not sure, man. I've seen like two matches that they ended up being dudes, and I'm not really into it. I'm like,
Jesus Christ.
I'm in my work mode, and I'm like, so yeah, the generator is over.
It's like, anyway,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
No, I think I was polite. At least I hit him with one of those. Damn, that's crazy. So yeah. Anyway, the overheat fault that's going into the.
I just want to get out of here and get my match, if you know what I'm saying.
So I don't know if Mike, that makes you feel less special or better, but I've seen some of that too. I've seen some of that too.
I assume the next time a stranger in the supermarket says, "Hey, let me ask you a question," I'm gonna be like, "No, no, walk away from me."
I've quoted you, Mike, several times when on that whole, how's it going? The correct answer is good. How are you? And
Can I ask you a question? The correct answer is good. How are you? I like that.
can I
Yeah,
ask you a question? No, you just did. Moving on.
unless
Or, no,
we're
what you
sitting
say
across
is,
from
what
each
you say
other.
is, excuse me, can you ask me a question? What should I
Oh,
ask you? Thank you. And then walk away.
Unless you're sitting across from someone, if you say, "How's it going? How are
that
you?"
was
Whatever to a
that was
stranger,
brilliant.
unless you're sitting across from them, the answer is good. How are you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're New York. That's New York right there.
So there's the informal greeting. How you doing? Good. How you doing? Whatever. And you're chatting for a while, and you realize, okay, this person, I'm actually chatting with them. I'm actually making a connection here. I'll ask them again. So, how is it going? How's family, whatever. And that means you're opening yourself up to
Yes,
actually talk about that kind of stuff. But with
yes,
the opening, hey, how's it going? Good. Moving on.
good.
And is that
That's
what
it.
they do is that what they do where you are, Mitch? How's it going? Good? Or do they get into it?
Um, there's a little bit more flair, I think, but it still keeps it like informal. It's like, how you doing? Oh, darling, I'm just fine. I just started my shift. God is good. Grass is green. It's raining cats and dogs, but Lord, it's good. How are you?
That's,
And I would accept that.
that is badass.
I would
Because
accept that.
You need to do that. You need to do
see,
that, Clay.
I
I'm
love
not
it
doing
because
it.
it's
How's it going? Well, you
I'm
got
not doing that
16
shit.
items. I got 17 minutes to get home. I got a beer waiting for me, and you want to know how I am.
it's like,
How
how's
was
it
your
going?
next meeting?
Well, baby, the computer battery's charging. The microphone is white. The wall is white, and I guess that's just how the world is. How are you? And like. You get the scripted, you get a little flair with the informal, and you're like, hey, yes, I'm reciprocating the informal hello, but also I'm putting a little bit of me on it just to let you know that I'm a
It,
cool person.
you are ultimately saying good. How are you? You're just
Exactly.
flowering it up a little bit. I'm fine
Exactly.
with that.
And if that's not the South, I don't know what is. So
True. Very true. Very true.
How
I'm not
are
going to
you?
do that.
Well, how are you? Well, I'm in the South. I fix generators. I got a number of ITL awards and a good deep driver.
if some poor schmuck at a bar asks me, hey Mitch, how's it going? Fucking Kohler decision maker 3.0, am I right? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, where's your ITL award there?
Right up the old poop snoot. Anyway, that's all I got. I don't know what you got.
And we're at about an hour. That's good.
Yeah, we're about an hour.
Recording stopped. Stop recording. There we go.